A stormy night in Willow Creek, Montana. Rain pouring hard. A single dad, Caleb Harper, driving to buy a pony for his daughter Mia until thunder traps him at a struggling farm. But by morning, he's not just found a horse. He's discovered a family and a love he never expected. What made him stay? How did this storm change everything? Before we dive into this heartwarming journey, please hit that like button to support more stories like this. Thank you so much. The Montana dawn crept over Willow Creek, spilling golden light across fields of swaying grass. It was 5:30 a.m., and Caleb Harper's alarm buzzed. Sharp and insistent, in his small rented cabin. He stirred, his hand fumbling to silence it before it woke Mia, his 8-year-old daughter, sleeping down the hall. The phone's glow flashed 5:30, cold and unyielding, daring him to rise. Caleb sat up, his breath heavy. At 35, he carried the weight of years of grief, of being a single dad, of keeping his auto repair business alive in a town that leaned hard on big chains. His face, tanned and lined, told a story of loss. Sarah, his wife, had died of cancer 2 years ago, leaving him with hospital bills, a battered Chevy truck, and Mia, the light that kept him moving forward. He stood, his boots scuffing the hardwood, careful to avoid the creaky floorboard. The cabin was modest, a sagging couch, a kitchen counter cluttered with Mia's horse drawings, a table buried under bills. He flicked on the coffee maker, its soft hum breaking the quiet. Caleb sank into a chair, coffee mug warm in his calloused hands. Before him lay the bills, a late electric bill, a loan payment 3 days overdue, a school flyer for a horse riding camp Mia had circled in glitter pen, costing $50. She'd talked about it for weeks, her blue eyes, Sarah's eyes, shining with dreams of ponies and open trails. "We'll make it work," he whispered, a promise he'd clung to since Sarah's last breath. His gaze drifted to a photo on the fridge, Sarah and Mia, laughing at a county fair. Sarah's auburn hair caught the light. Mia clutched a stuffed pony, her grin wide. "You'd know what to do, Sarah," he said softly, to her, to the air. He sipped the coffee. It was strong, bitter, grounding. Caleb pulled on his work jacket, Harper's Auto Repair. The name stitched in faded red. Today was packed. A tractor job in town, then a trip to Willow Creek Farm to buy a pony for Mia. He'd heard about a gentle mare, Daisy. Perfect for a shy girl who needed a friend. He'd saved $300. Every cent scraped from long nights in the garage. It would leave him stretched thin. But Mia's happiness was worth it. By 6, Caleb was in his truck, the engine grumbling to life. The dashboard held a photo of Mia, her smile bright. Taped near the vent, he turned on the radio, catching a news clip about a charity auction at Willow Creek Farm, run by Hannah Brooks, a widow fighting to save her land. Caleb barely listened. The Brooks family, with their sprawling ranch, lived in a world far from his. Must be nice, he muttered, steering onto the dirt road. The fields stretched endless, the sky heavy with clouds, the air thick with the promise of rain. Willow Creek was home, had always been, but today, something felt different. Across town, Hannah Brooks stood in her farmhouse kitchen, watching the same dawn. She was 32, petite but strong, her dark curls pulled back, her hazel eyes warm yet weary. Her coffee mug steamed. But her mind was elsewhere, fields of debt, a barn needing repairs, 3 kids who needed her more than ever. Jacob, 14, steady and quiet. Lily, 10, creative and shy. Noah, 6, all energy and questions. Their father, Tom, had died 4 years ago in a farming accident, leaving Hannah to hold their world together. Willow Creek Farm was more than land. It was her legacy, her kids' home, built on years of breeding horses that carried dreams. But Tom's death had brought alone a shadow that loomed larger now. The bank was circling, threatening to foreclose if she didn't pay $3,000 by next month. Hannah sipped her coffee, her grip tight. She'd been up late, planning tomorrow's auction. Deciding which horses to sell, Daisy, a gentle chestnut pony, was on the list. It broke her heart, but it might buy time. Mrs. Brooks, Emma, her friend and farmhand, called from the porch. "The buyer's coming for Daisy today." "You sure about selling her?" Hannah's chest ached. "No choice, Emma. We need the money." Emma frowned, but nodded. "Just hope she goes to someone who'll love her." Hannah turned back to the window, her gaze tracing the corral where Daisy grazed. Jacob would be out there soon, feeding the horses. Lily was probably sketching in her room, Noah asking a million questions. They were her strength, her reason to fight. But some mornings, like this one, the weight felt crushing. She set the mug down, ready to face the day. Caleb's morning was all grit and grease. He fixed the tractor at Jensen's farm, then a radiator at the town diner. His hands steady despite the sweat on his brow. His mind stayed on Mia. She was his heart, with Sarah's soft laugh and a quiet love for horses that had grown since her mom's death. The camp was her obsession. She'd tape the flyer to her wall, dreaming of riding trails with friends. Caleb would find that $50, even if it meant skipping his own bills. By noon, a client canceled. A rare stroke of luck. It meant he could pick Mia up early from school and head to the farm. He drove to Willow Creek Elementary, parking by the gate. The trucks rattle loud against the quiet street. When the bell rang, Mia burst out, her ponytail bouncing, her backpack swinging. "Dad," she shouted, spotting him. Her blue eyes bright. "We're really going to see the pony." "You bet, kiddo," Caleb said, grinning as he took her backpack. Ready to meet Daisy, Mia climbed into the truck, chattering about her friend Ellie, who'd said Daisy was like a pony from a storybook. Caleb listened, nodding, but his thoughts drifted to the $300 in his wallet. It was everything he had. He'd make it work for Mia. The drive to Willow Creek Farm took them past golden fields, the sky darkening with storm clouds. The farm appeared at the end of a dirt road, its red barn weathered but proud, horses grazing in the distance. Caleb parked near the corral, where a chestnut pony stood, her mane catching the breeze. Mia gasped. "Is that her?" Before Caleb could answer, a woman approached Hannah Brooks. She was striking, her dark curls framing a face both kind and tired. "You must be Caleb Harper," she said, offering a firm handshake. "And this is Mia. I'm Hannah. Daisy's waiting for you." Mia stared at Daisy, enchanted. "She's so pretty," she whispered, stepping closer. Hannah knelt beside her, her voice gentle. "She's sweet, too. Want to pet her?" Mia nodded, her small hand reaching out. Daisy nuzzled her palm, and Mia's face lit up. Caleb watched, a warmth spreading in his chest. "Looks like they're already friends," he said. Hannah smiled. Standing, "Daisy's got a way with kids. Let's take her for a walk, see how Mia feels." They led Daisy around the corral, Mia holding the lead with Hannah's guidance. Caleb trailed behind, watching his daughter's joy. Hannah explained Daisy's training, how she was calm, perfect for a beginner. Caleb noticed the farm's signs of struggle, a sagging fence, a barn roof patched with tarp, a tractor rusting in the corner. "You run this place alone?" he asked. Hannah's eyes flickered. "Mostly. My kids help Jacob, Lily, Noah, and I've got Emma, my farmhand. But it's, a lot." Caleb nodded, hearing the strain in her voice. "Know the feeling. Just me and Mia. 2. Takes everything sometimes." Their eyes met, a moment of understanding passing between them. Two parents, carrying their worlds alone. But thunder rumbled, breaking the moment. The sky was black now, clouds swirling. "Storm's coming fast," Hannah said. Glancing up, "You might want to head out." Caleb checked his watch, 3 p.m. He'd hoped to seal the deal, but the air felt electric. Yeah, we should, lightning flashed, and rain hit like a curtain, soaking them instantly. Mia squealed, clutching Daisy's lead. Hannah waved them toward the farmhouse. Inside, quick, they ran, rain stinging their faces, Daisy trotting to the barn with Emma. The farmhouse door swung open, and they stumbled in. Dripping, the house was warm. Lived in, with wooden floors, a quilted couch, and walls covered in kids' drawings. 3 kids appeared: Jacob, tall and serious; Lily, clutching a sketchbook; Noah, bouncing with energy. Who are they? Noah asked, pointing at Mia. This is Mia and Caleb, Hannah said, grabbing towels. They're here for Daisy, but the storm's got them stuck. Mia, shy at first, softened when Lily held up a horse drawing. You like horses? Lily asked. Yeah, Mia said, pulling out her own notebook. I draw them, too. The kids sat on the rug, sketching together, their chatter filling the room. Caleb took a towel from Hannah, drying his hair. Mia doesn't usually warm up that fast, he said, surprised. Hannah smiled, handing him a mug of coffee. Kids find their people. You want some, too? Sure, Caleb said, following her to the kitchen. The storm howled outside, rattling the windows. But inside, the farmhouse felt safe. They leaned against the counter, coffee steaming, and talked about parenting, about the grind of keeping things together. How long you been running this place? Caleb asked. Since my husband, Tom, passed, Hannah said, her voice steady but soft. 4 years. It's home, but it's hard. Caleb nodded, his own loss echoing hers. Lost my wife, Sarah, 2 years back. Cancer. Mia's all I've got. Hannah's eyes softened. I'm sorry. It's never easy. Is it? No, Caleb said, his voice low. But you keep going. For them? Their talk flowed, easy despite the weight. Caleb felt something stir a connection, unexpected, like finding a familiar road after years away. Hannah was strong, real, her warmth filling the kitchen like the coffee's aroma. By 5 p.m., the storm hadn't let up. Rain pounded the roof, thunder shaking the walls. You can't drive in this, Hannah said, glancing outside. Stay for dinner. We've got plenty. Caleb hesitated. He didn't want to impose, but Mia's laughter with Lily and Noah was answer enough. All right, he said. Thanks, Hannah. Dinner was spaghetti, the table crowded with kids and plates. Jacob helped serve. Lily passed bread. Noah spilled sauce on his shirt. Mia fit right in, giggling when Noah made a spaghetti monster with his fork. Caleb set the table, his shoulder brushing Hannah's, their ease growing. They're like old friends already, he said, nodding at the kids. Kids are magic like that, Hannah said, smiling. They see hearts, not strangers. After dinner, the kids begged to show Mia the barn. Despite the rain, Hannah bundled them in raincoats, and they dashed out, splashing through puddles. In the barn, Mia and Lily fed Daisy carrots, their faces glowing. Jacob and Noah showed Caleb a broken tractor in the corner. Been meaning to fix it, Hannah said, sighing. No time. I could take a look, Caleb offered. Mechanic's instinct, Hannah raised an eyebrow, but nodded. Deal. Tools are over there. Caleb knelt by the tractor, Hannah handing him wrenches. The kids' laughter echoed from the stalls. The rain, a steady drum outside. Their talk turned deeper. Sarah's long illness, Tom's sudden accident, the quiet ache of moving on. You ever think about starting over? Hannah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Caleb paused. Wrench still? Sometimes. But Mia's my world. Gotta be enough for her. You. Same, Hannah said, her eyes distant. The kids. The farm. It's all I know. But some days, it's lonely. Their gazes locked, a spark kindling. Caleb felt it something new, fragile, real. But a crash broke the moment Noah had tipped over a feed bucket. Giggling. Oops, he called. Hannah laughed, shaking her head. That's my boy. Back inside, the storm still raged, lightning flashing across the fields. You should stay the night, Hannah said, firm. Guest room's ready. It's too dangerous out there. Caleb thought of the slick roads, Mia's sleepy eyes. You sure? Don't want to be a burden. You're not, Hannah said, her smile soft. You're welcome here. He texted his neighbor to check the cabin, then agreed. Mia was thrilled, curling up with Lily to whisper about horses. Hannah showed Caleb the guest room, a simple space with a quilted bed, a window overlooking the corral. Sleep well, she said, lingering at the door. Thanks, Hannah, Caleb said, his voice thick. For everything. She nodded, and as she left, Caleb lay back, the storm's howl fading. He thought of Mia's laughter, Hannah's warmth, the kids' chatter. For the first time since Sarah, he felt home. Not the cabin, not the town, but here. In this moment, sleep came slow, his heart heavy with something he wasn't ready to name. The storm had passed by dawn, leaving Willow Creek Farm bathed in a soft, golden light. The air smelled of wet earth and pine, and the fields glistened under a pale Montana sun. Caleb Harper woke in the guest room of Hannah Brooks's farmhouse, the quilt warm around him, the faint creak of the house settling like a heartbeat. His phone read 6:30 a.m., and from the kitchen, he heard the clink of dishes and Mia's bright giggle. He sat up, rubbing his eyes. The events of last night rain, laughter. Hannah's quiet strength settling into him like a memory he wasn't ready to let go. Caleb pulled on his jeans and flannel shirt, his boots heavy on the wooden floor. The guest room was simple. A sturdy bed, a small table with a lamp, a window framing the corral where Daisy, the chestnut pony, grazed. He paused, watching her, thinking of Mia's joy yesterday. For 2 years, he'd carried the weight of single fatherhood, of Sarah's absence, of bills that never stopped coming. But here, in this house, with Mia's laughter echoing, he felt lighter. It scared him, that feeling, like stepping onto thin ice. In the kitchen, Hannah stood at the stove, flipping pancakes, her dark curls loose in a messy bun. Jacob, her 14-year-old, set plates on the table, his movements steady. Lily, 10, poured orange juice, her sketchbook tucked under her arm. Noah, 6, was showing Mia a toy horse, his voice a mile a minute. This is Thunder, Noah said, galloping the toy across the table. He's Daisy's best friend. Mia, her ponytail still damp from yesterday's rain, giggled. Daisy needs a friend. Maybe Thunder can visit her. Caleb leaned against the doorway, a smile tugging at his lips. Morning, he said, his voice rough with sleep. Hannah glanced over, her hazel eyes worn. Morning, Caleb. Sleep okay. Like a rock, he said, stepping in. Mia looks right at home. Maya grinned, syrup already on her chin. Dad, Lily says I can ride Daisy today. Can I? Hannah set a stack of pancakes down, her smile soft. If it's okay with your dad. The ground's muddy, but Daisy's steady as they come. Caleb hesitated. Riding was new for Mia, and he'd always been protective, maybe too much since Sarah's death. But her eyes sparkled, and he couldn't say no. Sounds good, kiddo. Just listen to Hannah. Yay! Mia clapped, nearly knocking over her juice. Noah cheered, and Lily gave a shy smile. Breakfast first, Hannah said, sliding a plate to Caleb. Fuel up. It's gonna be a busy day. Caleb took a seat. The table crowded with kids and warmth. The pancakes were fluffy, The bacon crisp, the coffee strong. It felt like a family, and the thought hit Caleb hard too familiar. Too fragile. He focused on his plate. Listening to the kids chatter, Jacob talked about feeding the horses. Lily mentioned a new drawing. Noah asked if ponies could fly. Mia fit right in, her shyness gone. Her voice bright as she told Noah about her stuffed pony at home. Dad got me Starlight after Mom. Mia paused, her smile faltering. After she went to heaven, the table went quiet. Noah tilted his head. My dad's in heaven, too. Mom says he's watching us. Hannah reached over, squeezing Noah's hand. He is. Sweetheart. She looked at Mia, her voice gentle. Starlight sounds special. Mia, maybe you can show her to Daisy sometime. Mia nodded, her smile returning. Caleb caught Hannah's gaze, grateful for her kindness. Thanks, he said softly, meaning more than the breakfast. They ate, the kids' laughter filling the gaps. Caleb helped clear plates, brushing shoulders with Hannah at the sink. He noticed a letter on the counter, Willow Creek Bank. Stamped final notice. Hannah snatched it up, her face tightening. Sorry, she said, tucking it into a drawer. Just paperwork. Caleb didn't push, but the letter stuck with him. He'd seen enough bills to know that look fear, dressed up as control. After breakfast, he offered to check the tractor they'd looked at last night. Might as well make myself useful, he said, half smiling. Hannah raised an eyebrow, but nodded. All right, mechanic. Barn's that way. The kids stayed with Emma, grooming Daisy in the corral. Caleb and Hannah walked to the barn. The morning air cool, the ground soft underfoot. The barn smelled of hay and leather, its red paint peeling but proud. Caleb knelt by the tractor, a rusted old John Deere, and popped the hood. Hannah handed him tools, her movements easy, like they'd done this 100 times. Runs rough, she said, leaning against a stall. Tom used to tinker with it. But I'm no mechanic. Caleb checked the fuel line. His hands steady, got a clogged filter. Maybe, easy fix if I can find the right parts. They worked in quiet rhythm, the clink of tools blending with the horse's soft snorts. Caleb's mind drifted to the letter. He didn't want to pry, but Hannah's strain was clear, her tight shoulders, the way her eyes flicked to the house. That letter, he said finally, keeping his tone light. You in some kind of trouble. Hannah froze, a wrench in her hand. She sighed, setting it down. You don't miss much, do you? Seen my share of bills, Caleb said, meeting her gaze. Looks like more than paperwork. She leaned against the tractor, her voice low. The farm's underwater. Tom left debts when he died, equipment loans. Mostly, I've been keeping up. But the bank's calling in $3,000 by next month. If I don't pay, they'll foreclose. Caleb whistled softly, wiping his hands on a rag. That's a hell of a weight. The auction tomorrow, will it cover it? Hannah shook her head. Maybe half, if I'm lucky. Selling Daisy's part of it, but... She trailed off, her eyes on the corral where Mia laughed with Lily. It's not just money. This place is our home. Losing it would break the kids. Caleb's chest tightened. He knew that fear losing what anchored you. You've got a plan. Trying to, Hannah said, a bitter laugh escaping. Sell horses. Sell equipment. Maybe some land. But every piece I give up feels like losing Tom all over again. Caleb nodded, his own loss echoing hers. After Sarah died, I sold our house to pay the hospital. Felt like I was selling her memory. But Mia, she's why I kept going. Hannah's eyes softened, a shared pain passing between them. Jacob, Lily, Noah, they're my why. But some days, I don't know if I'm enough. You are, Caleb said, surprising himself with the certainty. Look at this place. Look at your kids. You're holding it together. Hannah smiled. Small but real. Thanks. Caleb means more than you know. They worked on Caleb unclogging the fuel line, Hannah passing tools. When he turned the key, the tractor roared to life, its rumble steady. Hannah's face lit up, a spark in her eyes. "You're a miracle worker," she said, clapping his shoulder. "Just a mechanic," Caleb said, but her praise warmed him. They stepped outside, the sun higher now, the corral bustling. Mia was brushing Daisy, guided by Emma, while Lily and Noah tossed a ball nearby. Jacob joined them, carrying a bucket of feed, his quiet strength a mirror of Hannah's. "Dad," Mia called, waving. "Can I ride Daisy now? Please." Hannah glanced at Caleb, her smile encouraging. "She's ready. I'll saddle her up." Caleb nodded, his protective instincts warring with Mia's excitement. "All right, but stay close to Hannah." Hannah saddled Daisy, her hands deft, explaining each step to Mia. "Hold the reins gentle, like you're holding a bird. She'll feel you." Mia climbed on, her small frame steady, her face a mix of nerves and joy. Hannah led Daisy in a slow circle, her voice calm. Caleb watched, his heart swelling. Mia looked free, like the weight of the past 2 years had lifted, just for a moment. "She's a natural," Hannah said, catching his eye. "Yeah," Caleb said, his voice thick. "Thanks for this, Hannah." Their gazes held, something unspoken passing between them. But a shout broke the moment Jacob, on the porch, phone in hand. "Mom," he called, his voice tight. "Bank guy's coming tomorrow. Says it's urgent." Hannah's smile faded, her shoulders stiffening. "Thanks, Jacob," she called back, masking her worry for the kids. "Be there in a sec." Caleb saw the fear in her eyes, the same he'd felt when creditors called after Sarah's death. "Bank guy sounds like trouble," he said quietly. "Mr. Vance," Hannah said, her voice low. "Works for the bank, but he's tied to some developer. Wants the land cheap. He'll be at the auction. Pushing." Caleb's jaw tightened. "Pushing how?" "Offers I can't take," Hannah said. "Or threats. If I don't, he knows we're desperate." Caleb's hands clenched. He didn't know Hannah well, but the thought of someone preying on her kids stirred something fierce. "You need backup tomorrow." Hannah looked at him, surprised. "You offering?" "Got no plans," Caleb said, shrugging. "Mia and I can stick around. Help out." Hannah's eyes searched his, a mix of gratitude and caution. "You don't have to." "Caleb, this isn't your fight." "Maybe not," he said, "but Mia's happy here. And you're good people." She smiled, a real one this time. "All right, but you're earning your keep, more tractor fixes." "Maybe, deal," Caleb said, grinning. The rest of the morning passed in a blur. Caleb helped Jacob mend a fence, his mechanic's hands quick with wire and pliers. Mia and Lily drew in the barn, their sketches piling up. Noah tagged along, asking Caleb endless questions about engines. "Do tractors dream?" he asked. "Serious." Caleb chuckled. "Maybe of open fields." By noon, Hannah called them in for lunch sandwiches and lemonade, the table loud with kids' chatter. Caleb watched Mia, her shyness gone, her laughter easy. She fit here, with these kids. This place, it felt dangerous. That ease, like a dream he couldn't trust. After lunch, Caleb offered to stay another night. "Storm's gone, but I can help prep for the auction," he said, "if you'll have us." Hannah hesitated, then nodded. "Guest room's yours. And thanks, Caleb." The afternoon was work cleaning stalls, polishing tack, setting up tables for the auction. Caleb fixed a generator, his skills saving Hannah a repair bill. Mia and the kids made signs, their marker strokes bold. "Save Willow Creek Farm." Jacob worked quietly. But Caleb saw his worry, the weight of a kid who knew too much. At dinner, chili and cornbread, the mood was lighter. But tension lingered. Hannah was distracted, her eyes on the window, where the corral stood empty under a gray sky. Caleb helped clear dishes, their hands brushing at the sink. "You're carrying a lot," he said softly. "Let me take some of it." Hannah looked at him, her guard dropping. "You're already doing more than I can repay." "Not about repaying," Caleb said. "It's about doing what's right." Their eyes locked. The air charged. Caleb felt it again, that pull, like a tide drawing him in. But Noah burst in, holding a muddy boot. "Mom, found it in the barn." Hannah laughed. "The moment broken. Thanks. Buddy, now go wash up." That night, Caleb lay in the guest room, Mia asleep down the hall. The house was quiet, the kids' whispers gone. He thought of Hannah's letter, Vance's threats, the farm's fragile hope. His own life wasn't much debts, a struggling business, a cabin that felt empty without Sarah. But here, with Hannah's warmth, Mia's laughter, he felt alive. It was a risk. Staying, caring. He'd lost too much to trust easy, but as sleep came, he knew he couldn't walk away, not yet. The next morning, auction day, dawned bright and cold. Willow Creek Farm buzzed with strangers, neighbors, ranchers, buyers in city suits, their trucks lining the road. Caleb woke early, helping Hannah set up before Mia stirred. He carried chairs, strung lights, checked the microphone, his hands steady despite the crowd. The corral was a stage, horses groomed and ready, Daisy among them. Hannah was everywhere greeting buyers, organizing lots, her smile bright but strained. Caleb admired her grit, the way she held it together for her kids. Jacob worked beside her. Lily and Noah handed out programs. Mia tagged along, her eyes wide. "It's like a fair, Dad," she said, clutching his hand. "Sort of," Caleb said. But his gaze was on Hannah, talking to a man in a flashy jacket, Mr. Vance. His smile was sharp, his posture predatory. Caleb's gut twisted. He stayed close, helping Emma move hay bales, his eyes on Vance. The auction began at 10 a.m., the auctioneer's voice booming. Bids flew for saddles, tools, a bay mare. Hannah stood at the edge, her hands clasped tight. Caleb joined her, his voice low. "How's it going?" "Better than I hoped," she said, but her eyes were worried. "Need $15,000 to make a dent." Caleb nodded, his resolve hardening. He had $300. Meant for Daisy, but if it helped Hannah, he pushed the thought aside, focusing on the bids. The crowd was generous, neighbors raising hands high. But Vance bid aggressively, his voice cutting through. "He's driving prices up," Hannah whispered. "Wants me to fail." Caleb's jaw clenched. "He's a bully. Don't let him win." Hannah met his gaze, a spark of defiance. "I won't." Daisy's lot came last. Mia clung to Caleb, her voice small. "I don't want her to go." "Dad." "I know." "Sweetheart," he said, his heart heavy. He raised his hand, bidding $300, his savings, his gift to Mia. The crowd murmured, but Vance countered, pushing to $500, then $600. Caleb's stomach sank. He couldn't match that. Hannah stepped forward, her voice clear. "I'm pulling Daisy from the sale. She's for a child who needs her, not a profit." The crowd gasped, then clapped. Mia's face lit up, her arms around Caleb. "She's staying." "Looks like it," Caleb said, his eyes on Hannah. She'd risked her auction for Mia. For him, it hit him hard. That sacrifice. Vance smirked, whispering to a bank rep in a suit. Caleb overheard words like foreclosure and offer. Anger flared. He stepped toward Hannah. "You sure about Daisy?" "For Mia," she said, her voice firm. "And for me, I'm done letting guys like Vance call the shots." Caleb nodded, pride swelling. "You're something else." Hannah Brooks. The auction ended, raising $15,000, half what Hannah needed. Vance cornered her after, his voice smooth. Nice show, Hannah. But $15,000 won't save you. Sell to my client. Or lose it all. Caleb stepped up, his voice hard. She's not selling. This is her home. Vance laughed, sizing him up. And you are. Someone who cares, Caleb said. Standing tall. Back off. Hannah touched his arm, her voice steady. He's right. Vance. I'm fighting for this. Vance's smile faded, but he walked away, his threat lingering. Caleb turned to Hannah. He'll be back. I know, she said, her eyes fierce, but I'm not alone anymore. That night, over coffee, Caleb proposed a plan, a community horse sale to raise the rest. Mia and I can stay. Help organize. Your neighbors showed up today. They'll come through. Hannah's eyes welled. Why do this? Caleb. You barely know us. He took her hand, his voice low. Because you're family now. Mia's happy here. And you're worth fighting for. Hannah squeezed his hand, a promise forming. The kids slept, the house quiet. But the air hummed with hope. Caleb didn't know what came next. But for the first time in years, he wasn't running from it. The sun rose sharp and cold over Willow Creek Farm, casting long shadows across the corral where horses stamped in the crisp Montana air. It was auction day, Saturday, and the farm hummed with life trucks lining the dirt road, voices carrying over the fields. The scent of coffee and hay mingling in the breeze. Caleb Harper woke early in the guest room. The quilt heavy, the house still quiet except for the faint clatter of Hannah Brooks in the kitchen. His phone read 6 hours a.m., and his mind was already racing the auction. Hannah's fight, the $3,000 she needed to save her home. Caleb pulled on his flannel and jeans, his boots scuffing the floor. Last night's plan, a community horse sale to raise the rest of the money, felt bold in the dark. But now, with strangers gathering outside, it seemed daunting. He'd stayed 2 nights already, drawn in by Mia's laughter. Hannah's strength. The way this place felt like something he'd lost. But staying meant risking his heart, and Caleb wasn't sure he was ready for that. In the kitchen, Hannah stood at the counter, pouring coffee, her dark curls tied back. Her hazel eyes tired but determined. Jacob, her 14-year-old, stacked chairs outside. Lily, 10, arranged programs on a table, her sketchbook tucked nearby. Noah, 6, bounced around, waving a toy horse. Mia, Caleb's daughter, sat with Lily, coloring signs for the auction, her ponytail swinging. Morning. Dad, she called, her smile bright. Morning. Kiddo, Caleb said, ruffling her hair. He nodded to Hannah. Big day. Biggest, Hannah said, handing him a mug. Sleep okay? Enough, Caleb said, sipping the coffee. It was strong, grounding. You? Barely, she admitted, her voice low. If this doesn't work, Caleb, I don't know what's next. He saw the fear in her eyes, the same he'd felt when Sarah's hospital bills piled up. It'll work, he said, firm. You've got a whole town out there. And me and Mia, Hannah's smile was small. But real, you're something. Caleb Harper. They ate a quick breakfast toast. Eggs, juice the kids' chatter filling the room. Jacob talked about the horses. Lily showed Mia a new drawing. Noah asked if Daisy could be in the auction. Not Daisy. Hannah said gently, she's for Mia. Remember, Mia's eyes lit up. Really, she's mine. If your dad says so, Hannah said, glancing at Caleb. Caleb nodded, his throat tight. We'll figure it out. Mia. The $300 he'd saved was gone. Bid at yesterday's preview, but Hannah's choice to keep Daisy off the block meant more than money. It meant trust. After breakfast, Caleb threw himself into prep. He carried chairs to the corral, strung lights along the fence, checked the microphone for the auctioneer. Hannah was a whirlwind greeting neighbors, organizing lots. Her smile bright despite the strain. Jacob and Emma, the farmhand, groomed horses, their coats gleaming. Lily and Noah handed out programs, Mia trailing them, her shyness fading. "It's like a party, Dad," she said, clutching a stack of flyers. "Sort of," Caleb said, but his eyes were on the crowd. Ranchers in boots, families with kids, a few city types in suits, and one man, Mr. Vance, the bank's associate, in a flashy jacket, his smile sharp as a blade. Caleb's gut twisted. Vance had cornered Hannah yesterday, pushing her to sell cheap. Today, he'd be trouble. "You see him?" Caleb asked Hannah, joining her by the corral. She nodded, her jaw tight. "Vance. He's not here to bid. He's here to watch me fail." Caleb's hands clenched. "He's a vulture. Don't let him get to you." "Trying not to," Hannah said, her voice low. "But $15,000. Today would buy me time. Anything less?" "We'll get it," Caleb said, his voice steady. "Your neighbors showed up. They're here for you." Hannah met his gaze. A spark of hope. "Thanks, Caleb, for staying. Wouldn't be anywhere else," he said, meaning it. The auction began at 10 a.m., the auctioneer's voice booming over the crowd. "Folks, we're here for Willow Creek Farm, a piece of Montana history. Let's start with Lot 1, a fine leather saddle." Bids flew, hands rising fast. Neighbors bid generously, their voices loud, their wallets open. Caleb stood with Hannah, watching the tally climb. A plow went for $200. A mare for $1,500. A set of tools for $300. By noon, they'd raised $8,000. "Not bad," Caleb said, but Hannah's face was tight. "Need more," she whispered. "Daisy's lot is last. If I sell her—" "You won't," Caleb said, firm. "You pulled her for Mia." "Stick to it," Hannah nodded, but her eyes were on Vance, bidding aggressively on smaller lots, driving prices up, then dropping out. "He's playing games," she said. "Wants to bleed me dry." Caleb's anger flared. He moved closer to the auctioneer, helping Emma shift equipment, his eyes on Vance. The man's smirk, his whispered chats with a bank rep in a suit, set Caleb's teeth on edge. He overheard snippets: foreclosure, developer, prime land. Vance wasn't just a bully. He was a predator, circling Hannah's home. By 1 p.m., the crowd was restless, the air warm despite the cold. Caleb brought water to Hannah. Her face flushed. "You holding up?" he asked. "Barely," she said, sipping. "If we hit $15,000, I can negotiate with the bank. Anything less, and Vance wins." Caleb squeezed her shoulder. "He won't. Look at these people. They're here for you." The bids kept coming: a stallion for $2,000, a hay baler for $500. Jacob worked the crowd, his quiet strength a mirror of Hannah's. Lily and Mia sold lemonade, their giggles drawing smiles. Noah darted around, waving signs. Caleb helped move a cart, his hands steady, but his mind was on Daisy's lot. He had no money left. But if Hannah changed her mind, Daisy's up next. The auctioneer called. The crowd hushed, all eyes on the chestnut pony, led by Emma. Mia clung to Caleb, her voice small. "Dad, she's not going." "Right?" Caleb's heart ached. Hannah promised. "Kiddo." But Vance raised his hand, his voice loud. 500, the crowd murmured. Surprised, Hannah froze, her eyes wide. Caleb stepped forward, impulsive. The 600. It was a bluff. He had nothing, but he couldn't let Vance take Daisy. Vance smirked. Raising to $700, the crowd gasped. Hannah grabbed Caleb's arm. "What are you doing?" "Buying time," Caleb muttered. "Trust me." but Vance pushed to $800. Then $900. Caleb's stomach sank. He couldn't match it. Mia's eyes filled with tears. Dad. Hannah stepped to the auctioneer, her voice clear. I'm pulling Daisy from the sale. She's not for profit. She's for a child who needs her. The crowd erupted claps, cheers. A few murmurs. Mia hugged Caleb, her face buried in his jacket. She's staying. Yeah, Caleb said, his eyes on Hannah. She'd risked her auction, her farm, for Mia. For him, it hit him like a wave. That selflessness, Vance laughed, loud and mocking, whispering to the bank rep. Caleb caught words desperate, done for. Anger surged. He moved toward Hannah, his voice low. You sure about this? For Mia, she said, her eyes fierce. And for me. I'm done playing their game. Caleb nodded, pride swelling. You're tougher than they know. The auction ended at 3 p.m., raising $15,000, exactly what Hannah hoped. But only half the debt. The crowd dispersed. Neighbors patting Hannah's back, promising support. Caleb helped pack chairs, Mia and the kids cleaning up. But Vance lingered, cornering Hannah near the barn. His voice smooth. Nice try. Hannah, but $15,000 won't save you. My client's offering $2,000 for the land. Take it, or lose everything. Caleb stepped up, his voice hard. She's not selling. This is her home, her kid's home. Back off. Vance sized him up, his smirk cold. And who's this? The hired help, someone who cares. Caleb said, standing tall. You're not welcome here. Hannah touched Caleb's arm, her voice steady. He's right. Vance, I'm fighting for this farm. Tell your client to find another deal. Vance's smile faded, his eyes narrowing. You'll regret this. Brooks. He walked away, his boots kicking dust, the bank rep trailing him. Caleb turned to Hannah, his pulse still high. He's not done. I know, she said, her voice low. But I meant it. I'm not giving up. They stood there, the corral quiet, the horses grazing. Caleb felt it again, that pull, like Hannah was a fire he couldn't step away from. You're not alone, he said. Mia and I were in this. Hannah's eyes softened, a tear catching the light. Why, Caleb? You could walk away. He took her hand, his voice rough. Because you're family now. Mia's happier here than she's been in years. And you're worth it. Hannah squeezed his hand, a promise unspoken. The kids ran up, breaking the moment, their voices loud. Mom, can we have cookies? Noah asked, tugging her sleeve. Hannah laughed, wiping her eyes. Sure. Buddy, let's go inside. Dinner was quiet, the kids tired, the weight of the day settling. Caleb helped cook burgers, fries, a salad, the kitchen warm with chatter. Mia and Lily planned a daisy parade. Jacob talked about school. Noah asked if horses could swim. Hannah smiled, but her eyes drifted to the window, where the fields stretched under a gray sky. After the kids were in bed, Caleb and Hannah sat on the porch, coffee mugs steaming. The stars were out, the air cold. Today was a start, Caleb said. $15,000 something. It's half, Hannah said, her voice low. Vance will push harder now. He knows I'm close. Caleb leaned forward, his voice firm. Then we push back. That community sale we talked about, let's do it. Your neighbors showed up today. They'll come through again. Hannah looked at him, hope flickering. You really think we can raise another $15,000 with the whole town? Yeah, Caleb said. Mia and I'll stay. Help organize. I can fix equipment. Get it ready to sell. You focus on the horses. Hannah's eyes searched his. You're giving up a lot. Caleb, your work, your time. Mia's happy, he said, his voice thick. That's worth more than a few days at the garage. And you're not just fighting for the farm. You're fighting for your kids. I get that. Hannah reached for his hand, her touch warm. Thank you, Caleb. For seeing me, their eyes locked. The air charged. Caleb felt it a spark. A risk. A chance. He wanted to say more, but footsteps broke the moment. Jacob. In the doorway. Mom. Noah's asking for you. On my way, Hannah said, standing. She glanced at Caleb, a smile soft. Night, Caleb. Night, he said, watching her go. He stayed on the porch, the stars bright, his mind racing. The sale was a gamble, but so was staying here. Letting Hannah and her kids into his heart. He'd lost Sarah, nearly lost himself, but Mia's laughter, Hannah's courage, they were pulling him back to life. He didn't know if he was ready, but he knew he couldn't leave, not now. The next week was a whirlwind. Caleb and Hannah rallied the town, spreading word of the community sale. Neighbors pledged horses, tack, even baked goods. Caleb worked late, fixing plows, saddles, a rusty cart, his skills saving costs. Mia and Lily made posters, their glitter pens bold. Jacob and Noah cleaned stalls, their energy endless. Hannah trained horses, her touch gentle, her focus fierce. Caleb moved his tools to the farm, his garage quiet for now. He and Mia stayed in the guest room, their cabin a short drive away but feeling farther every day. Mia thrived, her shyness gone, her days filled with Lily's drawings, Noah's games, Jacob's quiet guidance. Caleb watched, his heart full but wary. This wasn't his home, not really, but it felt closer every day. One evening, as they set up tables for the sale, Hannah found Caleb in the barn, oil on his hands. You're working too hard, she said, leaning against a stall. Says the woman who never stops. Caleb shot back, grinning. She laughed, then grew serious. Caleb, if this doesn't work, it will, he said, wiping his hands. But if it doesn't, you're still you. Your kids are still yours. That's what matters. Hannah stepped closer, her eyes soft. You make it sound simple. It's not, he said, his voice low. But it's true. Their eyes held. The air warmed despite the cold. Hannah touched his arm, her voice barely a whisper. I'm glad you're here. Caleb's heart pounded. He wanted to pull her close, to say what he felt, but footsteps interrupted Noah, calling for Hannah. Mom. Lily's drawing a horse for the sign. Coming. Hannah called, smiling at Caleb. Duty calls. Go, Caleb said, his voice rough. I'll finish up. The sale was set for Saturday. A week away, Caleb threw himself into it. His days long, his nights short. He fixed a neighbor's tractor, polished saddles, built a stage. Hannah sold 2 mares. Her heart breaking, but her resolve firm. The town buzzed flyers on shop windows, posts on the community board, whispers of Hannah's fight. But Vance didn't stop. He spread lies, calling Caleb a drifter, twisting an old car accident cleared years ago into proof of recklessness. Caleb ignored it, but Hannah didn't. At a town meeting, she stood tall, her voice fierce. Caleb Harper saved my family. Not just from a storm, but from losing hope. He's one of us. Trust him. Like I do. The crowd cheered. Their support solid. Caleb watched, his chest tight. Hannah's faith in him, it was more than he'd expected, more than he felt he deserved. But it fueled him, that trust. By Friday, the farm was ready, tables set, horses groomed, signs bright. Caleb and Hannah sat on the porch, exhausted but hopeful. Tomorrow's it, Caleb said, his coffee cold. Tomorrow, Hannah echoed, her eyes on the stars. Whatever happens, Caleb, you've given us a chance. He took her hand, his voice low. We're not done yet. They sat there, hands linked, the night quiet. Caleb didn't know what tomorrow held, but for the first time in years, he wasn't afraid to find out. The week before the community horse sale passed in a blur of sweat, hope, and grit at Willow Creek Farm. The Montana air turned crisp, the fields golden under a late September sun, but Caleb Harper barely noticed the beauty. His days were filled with wrenches and wire, fixing plows, saddles, and a rusty hay cart to sell. His nights were short, spent planning with Hannah Brooks, their voices low over coffee as the kids slept. The sale set for Saturday was their last shot to raise the $15,000 needed to save the farm from foreclosure. Caleb felt the weight of it, not just for Hannah, but for Mia, who'd found a home here, and for himself, who'd found something he couldn't yet name. Caleb had moved his tools to the farm, his auto repair shop in town quiet for now. He and Mia stayed in Hannah's guest room, their small cabin a 20-minute drive away but feeling like another life. Mia thrived, her shyness a memory, her days bright with Lily's drawings, Noah's endless questions, and Jacob's quiet guidance. Caleb watched her, his heart full but wary. This farm, these people, they were weaving into his life, and the thought of losing them scared him more than the bills piling up at home. Hannah was a force, training horses with a gentle hand, her hazel eyes fierce with purpose. She'd sold 2 mares already, each sale a stab to her heart, but a step toward saving the farm. The town rallied, neighbors pledged tax, baked goods, even a tractor. Caleb fixed what he could, his mechanics' skills saving costs. Mia and Lily made posters, their glitter pens bold. Save Willow Creek Farm. Jacob and Noah cleaned stalls, their energy infectious. The community buzzed flyers on shop windows, posts on the town board, whispers of Hannah's fight against the bank and Mr. Vance, the developer's shark, circling her land. Caleb woke early Friday, the day before the sale. His phone reading 5:45 a.m. The guest room was dark, the quilt warm, but he was restless. He pulled on his flannel and boots, stepping quietly past Mia's room, where she slept, her stuffed pony, Starlight, tucked under her arm. In the kitchen, Hannah was already up, stirring oatmeal, her dark curls loose, her face tired but determined. "Morning," Caleb said, grabbing a mug. "You ever sleep?" Hannah smiled. "Small, but real. Not lately." "You. Enough," Caleb lied, pouring coffee. "Everything's set for tomorrow, close as it'll get," she said, setting bowls out. "We've got 10 horses, 20 lots of equipment, and half the town bringing food. If we hit 15,000, we will," Caleb said, his voice firm. "Your neighbors showed up last week. They'll do it again." Hannah's eyes softened. "You sound so sure." "Got to," Caleb said, sipping the coffee. Its bitterness grounding him. "For you. For the kids." They stood there, the kitchen quiet, the air heavy with unspoken words. Caleb felt it, that pull toward Hannah, like a current he couldn't fight. She'd become more than a friend, more than a cause. Her strength, her warmth, the way she loved her kids, it stirred something in him, something he'd buried since Sarah's death. The kids woke, breaking the moment. Jacob first, then Lily, Noah, and Mia, their voices filling the house. Breakfast was loud, oatmeal and apples. Noah spilling milk, Lily showing Mia a new horse sketch. Caleb helped clear dishes, his shoulder brushing Hannah's. "Their ease natural now. You're good with them," Hannah said, nodding at the kids. "Mia's lucky." Caleb's throat tightened. "She's my world, but here, she's got more than me." Hannah touched his arm, her voice soft. "You're enough, Caleb. More than enough." Their eyes locked. But Noah's shout, "Mom, the chickens got out," sent Hannah running. Caleb chuckled, following to help. The day was packed. setting tables, grooming horses. Testing the microphone, Caleb fixed a neighbor's cart. Its wheel wobbling, his hands steady despite the pressure. Mia and Lily hung signs. Jacob and Noah hauled hay bales. Hannah checked every detail, her clipboard worn. By dusk, the farm was ready, tables lined with tech. The corral a stage, horses gleaming. Caleb found Hannah in the barn, oiling a saddle. Her hands steady, but her eyes distant. "You're working too hard," he said, leaning against a stall. "Says the man who hasn't stopped all week," she shot back. Grinning, Caleb laughed, then grew serious. "Tomorrow's big." "Hannah, you nervous?" "Terrified," she admitted, setting the saddle down. "If this doesn't work..." "Caleb, I don't know where we go." He stepped closer, his voice low. "It'll work. But if it doesn't, you've got your kids. You've got people who care. That's what holds you." Hannah's eyes searched his, her voice barely a whisper. "You mean that?" "Every word," Caleb said, his heart pounding. He wanted to say more, to pull her close. But footsteps interrupted Jacob, calling from the door. "Mom, Emma needs you." "Coming," Hannah said, her smile soft. "Thanks, Caleb." "Go," he said, watching her leave. The barn quiet again. That night, dinner was pizza. The kids sprawled on the rug, giggling over a board game. Caleb and Hannah sat at the table, their coffee cold, planning last-minute details. "We open at 9, Hannah said, checking her list. "Auctioneers here at 10. Food stalls start at 11. "Got it," Caleb said, marking a map. "I'll handle equipment bids. Keep things moving." Hannah nodded, then paused. "Caleb, if Vance shows up..." "He will," Caleb said, his jaw tight. "He's been quiet. But he's not done." Vance had spread lies all week, twisting Caleb's past an old car accident, cleared years ago, into proof of recklessness. The town ignored it, but the whispers stung. Hannah had shut them down at a meeting, her voice fierce. "Caleb Harper's one of us." Her faith in him, it was a weight, a gift, a fire. "Whatever he tries," Caleb said. "We're ready." Hannah reached for his hand, her touch warm. "I'm glad you're here." Caleb squeezed back, his voice rough. "Me too." They sat there, hands linked, the house settling around them. Caleb felt it a spark, a risk, a future, but he pushed it down. Tomorrow was enough for now. Saturday dawned bright, the farm alive with color and sound. By 8 a.m., cars packed the road, pickups, SUVs, a few horse trailers. Neighbors set up tables, their voices loud. Peace. Quilts, lemonade. Caleb helped carry hay bales, his flannel damp with sweat. Mia and Lily sold programs, their smiles bright. Jacob and Noah guided horses to the corral, Hannah everywhere greeting, organizing, her clipboard gone, her instincts sharp. Caleb watched her, pride swelling. She was fighting, not just for the farm, but for her kids, her legacy. He felt it too, a need to protect this place. These people. Mia ran up, her ponytail bouncing. "Dad, it's like a fair." "Yeah, kiddo," Caleb said, ruffling her hair. "Biggest fair in Willow Creek." By 9, the crowd swelled. Ranchers, families, kids chasing balloons. The corral was a stage, horses prancing, their manes catching the sun. Caleb worked the equipment lot, showing plows and carts, his voice steady as buyers asked questions. Hannah led horses, her touch calming them, her smile drawing bids. The auction began at 10s, the auctioneer's voice booming. "Folks, we're here to save Willow Creek Farm, Lot 1, a fine bay gelding." Trained by Hannah Brooks herself, bids flew, hands rising fast. A neighbor bid $1,000, another $1, $200. The gelding sold for $1,500, the crowd cheering. Caleb glanced at Hannah, her face lit with hope. Lot after lot sold saddles, a mare, a set of harnesses. By noon, they'd raised $7,000. Caleb brought Hannah water. Her face flushed. Halfway there, he said. Halfway, she echoed, sipping. But we need more. Caleb nodded, his eyes scanning the crowd. Vance was there, in his flashy jacket, his smirk sharp. He bid on small lots, driving prices up, then dropping out. His game clear bleed, Hannah drive. Caleb's anger flared, but he stayed focused. Moving carts, answering buyers. Mia and Lily sold lemonade, their jar heavy with coins. Jacob worked the horse lots, his quiet strength steady. Noah waved signs, his energy endless. The town showed up old ranchers, young families. Even the diner owner, buying a plow for $300. Caleb felt it, that community, that heart. It was why he'd stayed, why he couldn't leave. By 2 p.m., the tally hit $12,000. Hannah joined Caleb by the corral, her voice low, 3,000 to go. Think we can do it. We're close, Caleb said, his voice firm. Keep going. The final lots were Big Stallion, a restored cart Caleb had fixed, a quilt Hannah's mother had made. Bids soared. The crowd, electric. The stallion went for $2,000, the cart for $800. The quilt pushed them over $15,500. The crowd roared. Hats flying. Hannah's eyes welled, her hand grabbing Caleb's. We did it, she whispered. Caleb squeezed back, his throat tight. You did it, Hannah. But Vance wasn't done. As the crowd thinned, he approached, his voice smooth, impressive. Hannah, but $15,000 won't clear your debt. My client's offering $25,000 for the land. Last chance. Caleb stepped forward, his voice hard. She's not selling. We raised enough to fight you. Vance laughed, his eyes cold. Fight. You're out of your depth. Harper, this farm's done. Hannah stood tall, her voice fierce. This farm's my home, my kid's home. Tell your client to back off. Vance's smirk faded, but he nodded. You'll regret this. He walked away, his boots kicking dust. Caleb turned to Hannah, his pulse high. He's scared. You stood up to him. Thanks to you, she said, her eyes soft. You gave me the strength. They stood there, the corral quiet, the horses grazing. The kids ran up, their voices loud. Mom, we did it, Noah shouted, hugging her. Hannah laughed, lifting him. We did. Buddy, all of us. That night, the farm glowed with string lights. The town lingering for a potluck. Caleb helped serve pie, Mia and Lily dancing to a fiddler's tune. Hannah joined him later, her apron smudged, her smile bright. We're safe, she said, her voice soft. For now, for good, Caleb said, his voice firm. You've got the money. The bank can't touch you. Hannah nodded, her eyes on the kids, laughing. You're part of this, Caleb. You and Mia, you're part of us. Caleb's heart pounded. He took her hand, leading her away from the crowd. Under the stars. Hannah, I don't know what's next. My life's a mess, Bills. A garage that's half dead. But here, I feel alive. Mia's alive. Hannah stepped closer, her breath visible in the cold air. You're more than your mess. Caleb, you're more than a guest here. Their eyes locked, the air charged. Caleb leaned in her, his voice a whisper. Raw, I'm falling for you. Hannah, I have been since that first night. Hannah's eyes shining, she said softly. I'm falling too. They kissed, slow and sure, a promise sealed under the Montana sky. The kids' laughter in the distance, Mia's voice calling Lily. Jacob and Noah playing nearby. Caleb pulled back, his heart full, his hands trembling. What do we do? We build, Hannah said, her voice steady. Together, they stood there, hands linked, the farm alive around them. Caleb didn't know the future, his debts, his work, their lives. But for now, with Hannah's warmth beside him, Mia's joy, he knew he'd found his place. The sale had saved the farm. Their love had saved him. Winter settled over Willow Creek Farm, the Montana fields dusted with snow, the air sharp with the bite of December. The community sale had saved the farms, raising $15,500 to clear half of Hannah Brooks's debt, enough to negotiate with the bank and keep the land that held her family's heart. Caleb Harper and his daughter, Mia, had stayed through the fall, their lives weaving deeper into the farm's rhythm. Caleb's auto repair shop in town ran on skeleton hours, his tools now a fixture in Hannah's barn. Mia, once shy, now laughed freely with Jacob, Lily, and Noah, her days filled with Daisy, the chestnut pony that had sparked their journey. Caleb woke early on a Sunday, his breath visible in the guest room's chill. His phone read 6 hours a.m. The farmhouse quiet except for the faint creak of floorboards. He pulled on his flannel and boots, the quilt slipping to the floor. 3 months ago, a storm had stranded him here, seeking a pony for Mia. Now, the farm felt like home, not the cabin he still rented, not the life he'd scraped together after Sarah's death, but this place, with Hannah's warmth, the kids' chatter, and a future he was starting to believe in. In the kitchen, Hannah stirred oatmeal, her dark curls loose, her hazel eyes soft in the dawn light. She smiled as Caleb entered, handing him a mug of coffee. Morning, she said, her voice low. Sleep okay? Better every day, Caleb said, sipping the coffee. Its bitterness familiar. You. Kids kept me up, Hannah said, laughing. Noah's planning a snow fort. Mia's in on it. Caleb grinned, picturing Mia's excitement. She's never been this happy. Not since, he trailed off, Sarah's memory a quiet ache. Hannah touched his arm, her voice gentle. She's got you, Caleb. And now, us. Their eyes met, a warmth passing between them. Since their kiss after the sale, they'd grown closer, their love cautious but sure. Caleb worked the farm, fixing fences, training horses with Hannah. Mia blended with the Brooks kids, their laughter a constant. But Caleb's debts loomed bills from Sarah's illness. A struggling garage, and he hadn't proposed. Not yet. The weight of his past holding him back. The kids woke, their voices filling the house. Jacob, steady at 14, setting the table. Lily, 10, sketching a snow horse. Noah, 6, bouncing with plans. Mia, 8, her ponytail swinging as she helped. Breakfast was loud. Oatmeal and apples. Noah spilling syrup. Lily showing Mia her drawing. Caleb watched, his heart full. This was family, messy and real, and he wanted it forever. After breakfast, Caleb offered to check the barn's heater, the cold seeping in. I'll come, Hannah said, pulling on her coat. Kids are with Emma, building that fort. They walked to the barn, the snow crunching underfoot. The corral white and still. Daisy snorted, her breath a cloud, and Caleb smiled, thinking of Mia's first ride in the barn. He knelt by the heater, his hands deft, Hannah passing tools. Their talk was easy horses. The kids, the farm's future now that the bank was at bay. You ever think about expanding? Caleb asked, tightening a bolt. More horses. Maybe lessons. Hannah leaned against the stall, her eyes distant. Used to dream of it. With Tom. Now, I just want to hold what we have. Caleb nodded, understanding. After Sarah, I stopped dreaming. Focused on Mia, surviving. But here, I'm starting to see it again. Hannah's eyes softened. See what's a life. Caleb said, his voice low. With you, the kids. If you'll have me. Hannah stepped closer, her breath catching. Caleb. I've wanted that since the sale. But your life, your shop, your debts, I'll figure it, he said, standing, his hands oil-stained, but sure, you're worth it. This is worth it. Their eyes locked. The barn quiet except for the horse's soft snorts. Hannah reached for him. Her touch warmed through his jacket. We'll figure it together, she said. They kissed. Slow and deep, the cold fading. Caleb felt it a promise, a home, a future. But a shout broke the moment Noah, running in, snow on his hat. Mom. Mia fell in the snow. She's okay, but it's funny. Hannah laughed, pulling back. Duty calls. Come on. Mechanic. They joined the kids. Mia giggling, covered in snow. Lily tossing a snowball. Jacob stood watch. His smile rare but real. Caleb threw a snowball, hitting Noah, and soon it was chaos. Laughter echoing across the fields. Hannah joined in, her aim sharp, and Caleb watched, his heart swelling. This was his place. These were his people. By noon, they were back inside, wet and rosy, sipping hot cocoa. Caleb helped Hannah with lunch sandwiches, soup, the kitchen warm. The kids planned a horse parade for Daisy, their chatter endless. But Caleb noticed a letter on the counter Willow Creek Bank. Unopened. More paperwork. He asked, nodding at it. Hannah's smile faded. Came yesterday. Haven't opened it. Caleb's gut twisted. Want me to? She nodded. Handing it over, he tore it open, scanning the page. It's a new loan offer, he said, his voice low. Lower interest. Longer terms. They're backing off. Hannah's eyes widened, a tear escaping. We're really safe. Really? Caleb said, pulling her close. You did this. Hannah, you fought. We fought, she said, her voice thick. You, me, the kids, the town. They stood there. The kids' laughter, a backdrop. The letter of victory. Caleb felt it, the last shadow lifting. The farm was theirs. And so was their future. Spring came slow. The snow melting into green fields. The farm alive with new foals. Caleb moved his and Mia's things from the cabin. Their lease ended. Their life now at Willow Creek. He worked the farm full-time. His garage sold to a chain, the money clearing his debts. Hannah expanded her horse training. Her lessons booked solid. The farm's name spreading. Caleb and Hannah grew closer. Their love, a quiet strength. They parented together Jacob's homework. Lily's art, Noah's energy. Mia's riding. Daisy was Mia's now. Her bond with the pony, a joy Caleb cherished. But he hadn't proposed. Not yet. The ring in his pocket a secret. His fear of loss still lingering. One April evening. Hannah planned a ride under the stars. The kids excited. Caleb saddled Daisy for Mia, helped Lily with her mare, checked Noah's pony. Jacob rode alone, his confidence growing. Hannah led, her horse steady, her smile bright. They rode through the fields, the sky purple, the air sweet with grass. Mia galloped ahead, Daisy sure-footed, her laughter ringing. Look, Dad, I'm flying. You are. Kiddo, Caleb called, his heart full. Hannah slowed beside him. Their horses side by side. She's a natural, Hannah said, her eyes on Mia. Like her mom, Caleb said. Sarah's memory soft now, not sharp. But she's got you, too. Hannah's smile was warm. We're a team. Aren't we? More than that, Caleb said, his voice low. He stopped his horse, his hand slipping to his pocket. Hannah, hold up. She reined in, curious. The kids rode ahead, their voices distant. Caleb dismounted, his boots sinking into the earth. The ring, a simple silver band cool in his palm. He took her hand, his heart racing. Hannah Brooks, you saved me, not just from a storm, but from a life half-lived. You and the kids, you're my home. Marry me, build a life with me. Hannah's eyes filled, her breath catching. She slid off her horse, her hand trembling in his. Caleb Harper, I've loved you since that first night. Yes, yes, I'll marry you. They kissed, fierce and sure, the ring slipping onto her finger. The kids' shouts broke the moment Mia, galloping back, her eyes wide. Dad, what's happening? Caleb laughed, lifting her off Daisy. I asked Hannah to marry me. Kiddo, she said yes. Mia squealed, hugging them both. Jacob, Lily, and Noah rode up, their faces curious. Are we a family now? Noah asked, his toy horse in hand. Yeah. Buddy, Caleb said, ruffling his hair. One big family. Lily grinned. Lily hugged Mia. Jacob nodded, his smile rare but real. They rode back, the kids planning a horse wedding, their chatter endless. Hannah leaned close to Caleb, her voice soft. You sure about this? 5 kids, a farm. Me, never been sure, Caleb said, his hand finding hers. The wedding came in June, the farm glowing with summer. Neighbors filled the corral, tables heavy with food pies, ribs, lemonade. Hannah wore a simple white dress, her curls loose, her ring shining. Caleb stood tall in a new flannel. Mia beside him, her dress blue, Daisy's mane braided with flowers. Jacob, Lily, and Noah stood with Hannah, their smiles bright. The vows were short, heartfelt. I promised to love you. Hannah, through storms and sun, Caleb said, his voice steady. You're my home. I promise to stand by you. Caleb, Hannah said, her eyes wet. You're my heart. They kissed, the crowd cheering, the kids whooping. Maya and Lily tossed petals. Noah tried to ride Daisy. Jacob laughed, a sound rare and precious. The fiddler played, the dance floor packed. Caleb spinning Hannah, Mia twirling with Lily. That night, under the stars, Caleb and Hannah sat on the porch, the kids asleep. The farm quiet. We did it, Hannah said, her head on his shoulder. We're just starting, Caleb said, kissing her hair. You, me, the kids, we're building something. Hannah smiled, her hand in his. A home, Caleb nodded, his heart full. The farm was safe, their love strong, their family whole. The storm that brought him here had faded, but its gift remained this light, these people, this love. He'd found his true home, not in a place, but in them. Months later, the farm thrived. Hannah's lessons grew. Caleb started a repair shop in the barn, fixing neighbors' gear. Mia rode Daisy in her first show, a ribbon on her wall. Jacob joined the school rodeo. Lily sold her art. Noah dreamed of ponies. They were a family. Their days loud, their nights warm. One evening, Caleb and Hannah rode under the stars. The kids ahead, their laughter carrying. You ever think about that storm? Hannah asked, her horse close to his. Every day, Caleb said, his voice low. It brought me to you, she smiled, her hand finding his. To us. They rode on, the fields endless, the sky vast. Caleb knew life wasn't perfect, debts lingered. Work was hard, kids were chaos. But with Hannah, with Mia, Jacob, Lily, and Noah, he had everything. The storm had passed, but its promise held a home, a heart, a life worth living. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey with the Kindness in Real Life channel. Your support means the world to us. And we're so grateful you took the time to listen to Caleb, Hannah, and their kids find love and home. If this story touched your heart, Please give it a like, drop a comment to share your favorite moment, and hit that subscribe button to spread the kindness. Let's keep the warmth going. See you in our next story.